Jake here for American Muscle, and today I'm taking a look at the Mishimoto Baffled Oil Catch Can for 2016 and newer Camaro SS's. Now, oil catch cans or oil separators are some of the best and easiest ways to keep your car running smooth and clean for the long haul. And if you're planning on keeping your Camaro around for a while, and especially if you're planning to add some additional modifications, one of these should be on your list. Now, Mishimoto's Baffled Catch Can offers some really nice benefits and excellent build quality too. Oil catch cans are really kind of a unique mod in the market, as they don't necessarily add performance, but instead they focus on engine longevity. Modern direct injected engines like the Camaro's LT1 can sometimes have issues with the intake valves or even the intake manifold itself getting caked in oil residue because there's no fuel passing over them from regular port fuel injectors. So that's where these come in. And oil catch cans connect to the PCV system on your engine, and they are designed to trap that excess oil that gets cycled back through the vapors in the PCV system, thus keeping that stuff from gumming up your intake valves and keeping the top end of the engine much cleaner. Now, this whole thing is constructed from heavy T6061 billet aluminum, and it's topped off with this killer black anodized coating, so it blends in really nicely in your engine bay. Now, unscrew the can here, and you're gonna find a Viton O-ring for a tight seal, as well as a 3-ounce capacity container. You also get these direct fit pre-molded hoses for easy fitment, and they have quick connect fittings on both ends to make for a quick and easy installation and a solid connection. On the side of the can itself, you've got these aluminum machined barbs with a nice O-ring there too. So everything's gonna seal up and go together very easily. Now, when you take off that can, you see that Mishimoto has baked in some really cool stuff here. And one thing that makes this different from the rest of the cans out on the market, most important here, is this bronze filter. Now, this is the key to the whole thing, as it is a 50 micron filter, so it's gonna filter out a ton of stuff that comes through that PCV system and trap it down here in the canister. Now, there's also this internal air diverter or baffle to create some turbulence and help improve that oil separation. Now, the whole thing is really solid, like I said. It's well built and it mounts out of the way too, which makes it ideal for any application, especially if you're planning on adding forced induction or some other modifications down the road. Now, that 3 ounces of capacity here may not sound like a lot, but most engines are only gonna produce about an ounce of oil every 1,000 miles. And that, of course, is gonna depend on your car and the conditions under which you drive. So with this one, Mishimoto recommends checking that can every 1,000 miles until you get a good idea of how much accumulation your car creates under your normal driving conditions. Pricing here comes in at just about $275. Now, that does put it toward the upper end of the category when it comes to oil separators or catch cans. But again, you're getting some very high quality materials here, like that bronze filter, and some good science built in as well. Plus, that $275 is still going to be less than even one professional valve cleaning service at your mechanic. So for the ability to go further without having to do that service, or maybe not even have to do it at all over the lifetime of your car, I think this is well worth the cost of entry. Now, installation here comes in at an easy 1 out of 3 on the difficulty meter, and it should only take you about 30 minutes to install. You're gonna mount that bracket, connect these hoses via these 2 fittings, which just screw in the front here, and that's basically gonna cover the process. Now, I will say that with the caveat that if your Camaro has a strut tower brace, you are gonna need to undo or loosen that in order to attach this bracket. Just put it under and put it right back on. And to show you that entire process now, let's head on over to the install bay.
Tools required for this install include an impact gun, an electric ratchet, a 17mm wrench, a flathead screwdriver, a ratchet, 7, 10, and 13mm sockets, and a 2.5mm Allen key. What's up, guys? Today we're going to be installing an oil catch can on our Camaro, so let's get started. So our first step is to remove our engine cover. So we can go ahead and remove these 2 side pieces, and then we can remove our middle cover. So to make it a little easier to get these out, we can push back on these clips on our fuel line. And then we just have 2 grommets that are holding this down. And then we'll do the same thing on this side. So next we have these 4 posts that our grommets clipped into. They're gonna be a 10mm deep socket to take these off. So now with our 4 posts removed, we can lift up on our engine cover and we have enough clearance. We're going to be disconnecting this PCV line right here. So the longer side we're going to press down on and then we can pull it off. So the top one, we can get our hand in there. The one on the bottom, we're going to use a flathead screwdriver because it's a little buried deep down there. So we'll press that tab in and we can pull that right off. And then for the bottom one, we'll get our flathead in there and we can pop our line right off. Next, we can remove these 2 13mm bolts from our support brace. That way we can sandwich our bracket in between and put our bolts back through. So now we'll take a 13mm socket to get these out. So now we can grab our bracket. We're going to lay that down over our holes and then reinstall our 13mm bolts. And now we'll take that same 13mm socket to tighten those down. So now we can mount our catch can. So we're going to slide this down into place. And then we have 3 of these Allen screws that are going to thread in through the top. Then we're going to take a 2.5mm Allen key to tighten these down. Now we can install our fittings into our catch can. So these will simply just screw right in. And then we'll tighten these down with a 17mm wrench, being careful not to over tighten these. So now first we're going to connect to our lower fitting, and this is going to go to the inside of your oil catch can. So we can take one of our hose clamps and just slide that over. And then we'll click that into place. Get our line over our fitting. And slide our hose clamp down. And now you can use either a flathead screwdriver or a 7mm socket to tighten this down. And now we'll just repeat that same process for our upper fitting. Get our hose clamp slid over. Click that into place. And then we'll use that same 7mm socket or flathead screwdriver to tighten this side down. Now we can reinstall those 4 posts that hold our center engine cover down. And then we'll tighten these down with our 10mm deep socket. Now we can reinstall our side covers. So we have these 2 hooks and then the grommets that'll go on our posts. So we'll snake that under the fuel line first. And then hook our 2 clips in. Press down into our grommets. And then we'll just do that same thing on this side. And then we can reinstall our fuel line into our clips. So that'll wrap up this review and install of the Mishimoto baffled oil catch can for your 2016 and newer Camaro SS. Thank you for watching, and remember, for all things Camaro, keep it right here at AmericanMuscle.com.